There is and God, I know I'm one. My mother was a tailor. She served my liberty. But my father was a gambler man down in New Orleans. Now the only thing the gambler needs is a sentence and a song. And the only time he's satisfied, it's when he's on a drum. Yeah. Oh, mother, tell your children not to do what I have done. Or spend your life in sin and misery in the house of the rising sun. Well, I got one foot on the platform, the other foot on the train. I'm going back to New Orleans, to where the ball and chain. Yeah, that red flag in New Orleans. Let it go, the rising sun. And it's been the ruin of many overboard. Thank God I know I'm one. Thank God I know I'm one. Thank God I know I'm one.
This is the dawning of the age of awareness. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the one, the only, Real Mighty Joe Show. I am your host, Real Mighty Joe, and we are joined again by my brother from another mother. We got Richie Albertini in the house. What's going on, man? Can you hear me? I am not muted. There we go. There was a noise.
I think I broke it. I tripped over the cord.
You got it. You got it. You're in.
Listen,
You're in.
real quick.
What's going on?
Listen, real quick. I want to just take this time at the top of the show. I don't know if there's anybody listening yet, but Joe, if you could just give me a couple minutes.
What up,
Yeah, I want to
man?
give you.
Shit, what happened, man? Richie done knocked himself off. Come back, Richie. Come back. He'll be back. Richie's already booing. Well, welcome to the show. I'll just go ahead and give an introduction before he comes back. Anyway, so yeah, it is Monday. It was a fucking Monday for me personally. Mondays are always my favorite day of the week. Yeah, let's just say that. Love Mondays. Case of the fucking Mondays. So I had a Monday. I'm sure y'all did too. Welcome to the show. We got Richie back. Here he is. What up, Richie? You're back.
Hey, I'm
You're
going to
back.
try to do this. I don't know why. For some reason, it's hard to hear you.
Don't boom so hard. Don't boom so hard, dude.
All right, listen. I want to break something down. And Joe, we talked a little bit about this off the air. And I just want to real quick, maybe 5, 6 minutes. I want to tell the listeners a story. And it's an interesting story. It's
Sure.
Disney. It's Johnny Depp. It's Amber Heard. When I got involved in this case, what happened was I was very upset with Johnny Depp. We could go into details about that on another show. I was willing to help Amber Heard. I was actually willing to help her until her attorneys and her brought in a guy by the name of Paul Baresi. Paul Baresi, anybody can Google him. He's a loser. He's a murderer.
I have warned you before you Google that name because you're going to see porn. You're going to see gay porn.
It's not work safe. Don't look it up at work. But nevertheless, I want to just kind of go briefly through this Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. I was almost willing to help her. I wasn't taking any money for it. I was not going to get paid for it. I had no interest in the money. They offered me tons of money. Amber Heard's attorneys offered me money. Paul Baresi offered me money, and I turned it down. When Paul Baresi first contacted me, and I've got text messages to show this, I noticed these text messages were coming from a gay porn star. And I'll show you the text. I kind of told him to fuck off. Don't call me anymore unless he's going to tell me who he is. He goes on to explain, and he tells me he's a private investigator. And in the beginning, I just thought he was a character. I talked to him. I was still kind of like talking to him a little bit of shit. But this man was becoming hostile. And this man was becoming very, he thought he was threatening me somehow. And what he had done, is presumably he got this information from Amber's attorney, Richard Schwartz, who was a former United States prosecutor. I can't prove he's the one that did it, but Paul Baresi somehow came up with my sealed indictment. He had my indictment. He had everybody's name that was in it. This was supposed to be sealed forever. Once he obtained that document, he started to blackmail me. And in his blackmailing me, he made me call a guy by the name of Ed Shaw. Ed Shaw is the guy that tried to save River Phoenix, just so people understand. Ed Shaw is a good guy. I was being blackmailed.
And
I was being
threatened. River Phoenix died.
Yeah, that's big.
Ed Shaw worked for the Viper Room. Is that correct?
Yeah, he was the bouncer that took River outside. He assisted them with putting River in the ambulance. I hope he's still doing well. He's a quadriplegic today. He was in a bad accident, and he wasn't doing well the last time I spoke to him. But nevertheless, I made this recording. And like I said, Paul Baresi was pressuring me, and I did it. I did it. Anybody that's listening, I committed the crime. I recorded Big Ed Shaw and myself without his consent. This recording, there's some things in it that are a little bit sketchy, but nevertheless, this is an illegal recording. There's there's 3 people outside of myself on the face of this earth that had that recording. Obviously, it's in a safe place now, and it's with my attorneys and several other people. But at that time, I sent a copy of it to Paul Baresi. I sent a copy of it to Mario Natrini, and I sent a copy of it to Richard Schwartz. Richard Schwartz was one of the people asking me to make that recording. I did it. I I eventually found out that Paul Baresi was a murderer. He was irrational. He was acting like a fool. So it became contentious, and I told him to get lost. I'm telling Amber's attorneys that this guy is out of control. They're doing nothing to stop him. And, I basically told him if this guy comes around me, he's not leaving. And that was the situation. Now, fast forward to today. The trial is underway.
You're
The
saying
Disney Corp.
you said that to who? You're saying you were saying you said that to Amber's attorneys or whatever?
Yeah, I told all of them they're a bunch of assholes.
So who
They're
sucked
dude.
Paul Baresi on you? Her attorneys or?
Well,
Johnny?
originally it was her attorneys because her attorneys wanted me to give him dirt, and they wanted me to introduce him to people that nobody would know about to try to get them to testify against John. I never did it. I sent them on a wild goose chase. This guy was calling people that had nothing to do with Johnny. He called Carrie Otis, Mickey Rourke's ex-wife, and started insisting that Johnny hit her. Now, because the trial is underway, and obviously, Joe, I've got probably 40 hours plus.
Today was boring as shit too. So we got nothing really of great.
Yeah, I don't even know who that
something
witness.
at the end. I didn't catch the very end, but everything today was recorded testimony. It was so right now they're doing pre-recorded deposition. It is his doctor spoke all of most of the shit yesterday, or not yesterday, but Thursday, and then today, this morning, and then the nurse that was caring for Johnny spoke a lot today. But it's not very exciting. That's
the boring stuff.
It's a drag to listen to. It's all verifying and setting up background for whatever they're building as their case. So there's going to
be some.
We'll have some good witnesses.
I noticed there's going to be a couple of really good witnesses coming soon. That I can't wait till they're on the stand. I know that Ellen Barkin is going to testify. I don't know what side she's testifying from, but we're going to tear her to shreds. Oh, yeah. But I just want to get back to what's happening right now because I want everybody to understand this has been forwarded to law enforcement. It's forwarded to my attorneys. Good. I got a text message about 6 months ago from Paul Baresi attempting to blackmail me, and I'll post it, telling me that he's got that recording of me and Big Ed Shaw, and if I don't shut up, he's going to make it. He's going to put it in every tabloid there is. Yeah, go ahead, Paul. You're blackmailing me. Get lost. Nevertheless, if you take a look at Mario Nitrini's page, these two idiots decided that they're going to stand shoulder to shoulder, and they're going to expose all kinds of crimes, and they're going to do this, that, and the other thing. They're full of shit. They're both full of shit. But nevertheless, that recording of me and Big Ed Shaw has been turned into a transcript.
Well, oh shit, we lost Richie. Well, I got a quote I can throw on there. Well, if he's trying to get back, I don't know what happened there. Richie just jumped off. Richie, come back, Richie. But I don't know what happened to you, bro. We'll put you back in. See, man, you the other day thought someone was throwing you off. You might just be getting bounced because of some weird shit on your internet. But you're back. I got you. There you are. But
yeah, I'm back.
What I was gonna say, I was gonna say a quote to them real quick. Is it's like, what is it? Great minds think alike, but fools seldom differ, right? So it's like
exactly
together.
Well, and it's kind of like this. These guys, Paul Baresi is a tabloid guy. Worked for the he's a porn star, he's a tabloid reporter, he's a private investigator,
he's a porn star, porn director, I believe, as well. He directed a lot of films.
He's everything. He's a jack off of all trades. But nevertheless, Mario's been, exactly. Mario's been trying to get his name mentioned in the tabloids for years, and he thinks all his fragmented information, he thinks things that I told him are going to be used against me or somebody else.
Well, that was the first guy to threaten me after I talked to you, directly. He was like, "Don't worry, I made sure they know who you are." And I was like, "All right, pepperoni balls." And he's like, "Is that racist?" I'm Italian, or whatever. And then I turned into calling him every Italian food under the sun or whatever. I called him pasta nuts or something, whatever.
Well, you and I are going to slowly go. You and I are going to slowly go through the Viper room.
This guy, the way I look at him, he's just, he's like, He randomly tags people like he's a troll that's so boring. I don't even bother trolling him back. Be like, at least like interesting trolls that try and troll me. It's like that gives me something to work with. I can fuck with you. Like I grew up,
Oh,
in
exactly.
Boston. I
And
like to
listen,
fuck
I
with
love
trolls
these
like you do.
guys. I love these guys. These guys are awesome. I absolutely love them. I think that Mario is a clown. I get a lot of mileage out of him. Making jokes about him and clowning him gets me a lot of followers
Yeah.
because everybody hates him.
Yep.
Paul
He's just
Baresi,
annoying.
another
He just
one.
tags people that don't care about his shit. Like like nobody cares about it. Like he's tagging a whole bunch of people that hate him. Like every post.
Exactly. So now he thinks he's going to jump on Paul Baresi, literally, and these two are going to become, tabloid stars. But the
And they call
reality of it is,
he's like Paul Baresi regarding my last tweet. in
I guess what
the
my
OJ
message
Simpson
is,
case. In the
I
OJ
guess
Simpson
what
case.
I guess
Breaking
what my
news.
message is,
Follow
and
for
because
more information.
because I
You
know who some of the
dickhead.
listeners of the show are, I just want everybody to know this. Mario Natrini and Paul Baresi,
He's one
that
of my
would be
biggest
at,
fans. He watches all this
if
shit.
anybody wants to look them up on Twitter, it would be at Natrini, Nitrini, 1950. And you're going to want to look up Paul Baresi, Paulbarresi, and then the number one.
And no, and I do warn you, if you're at work and you're listening to this podcast, do not
Yeah, don't
Google
look at
Paul
this crap.
Brady. He is a gay porn star, so it will be like not safe for work websites, literally, like that are gonna come
Right.
up when you Google that fucking guy's name. I like made
Exactly.
that I like live on the show talking to Richie out of when we first met and first started talking. Live on a show, you mentioned that dude's name, and I googled it, and I was like, "Oh shit, I can't show any of that." I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" I was like,
Here's the point I
"Whoa,
want.
man, I can't put
Here's the
any of
point that
that."
I want to make.
Good,
Here's the point that I want to make.
good.
I've been getting death threats. I just got off the phone with Paul Baresi a few minutes ago, where he decided he wanted to call me back because he wanted to ask me questions about Anthony Fox. We'll get into that. They're offering me millions of dollars to make a statement about this guy. I'm going to make a statement on your show in the next few days, absolutely for fun and for free. But because these guys are threatening me, because they're trying to extort money from me or blackmail me or shut me up, you know me, Joe. I'm not a cop caller. In a way, we kind of are the cops. So I'm certainly not filing a criminal report. But I just want the listeners to know that Paul Baresi, Mario Natrini are attempting to blackmail me. I am in possession of a voicemail that Paul Baresi thought he was leaving from Mario. And in the voicemail, hey, Mario, how are you? Don't worry about it. I'll take care of Albertine. Last but not least, before I go, because I got some things to do, Joe, and we'll pick it up again tomorrow.
Good,
Mario,
good.
you're not coming near me. You know you're not coming near me.
By
Cut the
Mario,
shit.
he means pasta balls, pepperoni nuts, cannoli testicles.
Exactly.
You know what we're
And
talking
Paul Baresi, you too know that you're not coming near me. Now, Mario,
He's known as Poppy Pasta Balls because he's Mario's
exactly. Two
daddy.
pasta balls, two meatballs think they're coming after me. But I'm going to say this. Mario is a blatant
I
idiot.
did see that text message where Paul Bressy wanted to bond with you over being Italian.
Yeah, exactly. Mario Natrini is a blatant idiot. He sits on his computer and he looks up a bunch of nonsense. Paul Baresi he was a private investigator. He ruined the lives of some very good people, blackmail, extortion, and such.
I mean,
Paul
Hollywood
Baresi,
private investigator is a pretty shitty job. Let's just be honest
well,
with it.
Paul Baresi is, I mean, look, Mario is going to tank this guy. He's going and he's posting pictures of Paul Baresi with Victoria Gotti as if I'm going to be intimidated by that. It's very simple. I called Junior. And these guys they're just being fools. And I want to tell both of them, come near me, guys. Paul, I told you where I was having lunch today. Mario, I had lunch a block away from your house. I mean, what's up?
I
You
mean, the
guys are
bottom
going
line is like trolls are afraid of confrontation. They're afraid of conversation, right? So the end of last night's show, we had some troll jump in the chat, and I accused the person of not even being old enough to watch my show because you have to be 18 to watch my show on Twitch by the guidelines. It's an 18 plus show. It's basically rated R, if you will.
Right.
So it's an adult talk show. It's a late night adult talk
Exactly.
show. You know,
And it's kind of
and we
like this.
swear, and some of the videos I show have graphic content sometimes. You know, if we're talking about war or some shit, yeah, you're gonna see
Well,
some shit.
Joe, you know a bit about me and Ruben, and you know that we're together all the time. And Ruben is aware of everything that's happening, and
Yeah.
he's laughing at these guys too. But when
Yeah,
you call
well,
somebody a
and
pedophile,
Ruben ain't the
or
kind
when
of guy
you
you
call
want to fuck
somebody,
with. Ruben is not the kind of guy you want to fuck
well,
with because,
me
like,
exactly.
no,
Oh
no,
no,
I
I'm
mean,
not trying to look.
just
We're not going.
no. I'm a lifetime martial artist. I can handle my own. I can handle my salt. I'm comfortable with my own skin. But Ruben casually name dropping some of the dudes he studied with. Those are world renowned names that I know,
Exactly. And I'm
like
not
Gene
saying this.
LaBelle. Gene LaBelle.
Listen, I'm not
Gene
saying this.
LaBelle,
I'm not
judo.
saying this to intimidate. But listen, I want to make this clear. I'm not mentioning
Gene
Ruben
LaBelle
to
is like
intimidate.
a judo fucking
I get it.
artist.
But
He's like
Joe,
a
let me
Bob
say
Ross
this so
of
nobody.
judo, man.
Let me say this because I know Paul Baresi and Mario are listening to your show. Mario is your top listener. So I want to say because I mentioned
I
Ruben,
tell Mario not to fuck with fucking Ruben because Ruben's got to study with Gene LaBelle, dude. And I'm a
I
lifetime
get it.
martial artist, and I'm comfortable
Oh,
in my
that's
own
right. I
skin,
saw he
and I'm
was. He
not
was he
afraid
was
of fucking
tweeting
with
some
martial
shit to
arts.
Ruben. Exactly.
No, I mean, see, here's the thing. If Ruben and I got together, me and that guy would get together like two peas in a pod because we would
And
just be
beat each
trading
other up.
technique. Well, yeah, we'd beat each other up and trade technique, and we would have a fucking blast, dude. We would have so much fun, dude. I'd be like, dude, check out this. You ever seen how to do this one, that one? Like, he'd be showing me some shit. I'd be showing him some shit. We'd have a fucking field day.
Bro,
We
he
couldn't do it.
beats me up every
But
day. I mean,
no,
he
I get
literally
it, dude. I do that to Soul. Dude, ask Soul about how I teach him martial arts. It's like you gotta feel it to love it, bro. That's the
he's
message.
very mean to me. Like when he comes home, I gotta go get him his slippers, otherwise he does a judo kick or something to me. No, listen, I'm not saying this to be intimidating.
You
I'm
can't be friends with me without learning some level of basic martial arts. I will teach you
okay.
like literally basic martial arts if you're my friend. That's just how I am.
You should send a message to Dr. Leonard Wayne and see if you could get him and Chuck Norris to come on your show.
I think basic martial arts should be part of kindergarten curriculum, right? If every little kid learned like martial arts discipline from childhood to adulthood, you would eliminate most bullying. If
Well,
every
that's what
kid
our
could throw a punch
ministry,
and every kid could throw a kick,
Joe.
then all of a sudden the bullies go away.
Joe, you know a lot more about us than the listeners do. So you
Yeah, talk
understand that
about it.
that's exactly what we're working
That's what
on.
I'm talking about. Yeah,
We're opening up a gym and we're opening up a full mixed martial arts studio.
yeah, boxing
And
gym, mixed martial arts,
yeah,
the whole nine. Yeah.
boxing, and we're opening it up in East LA. And that's one of the reasons why we ask for donations. That's where the money goes. It goes to the projects that we're working on. But let me just finish this thought. Obviously, I didn't mention Ruben to intimidate, harass, or annoy anybody. We're Christians, and thank God we're Christians. But the reality of it is, our backgrounds. We're street guys. We've been to prison. And there's two things you don't say
Yeah.
to somebody.
I didn't go to jail because I was smarter than all you fucks. That's the only difference.
Exactly.
I rolled around and did all the same shit. I'll just put
But
it that
there's
way.
but there's but there's two things that you don't say to or about a man. You never call him a pedophile, and you never tell him you're going to kill him. Those are fighting words.
I mean,
Those are fighting
there's
words.
certain shit too, there's like yo mama jokes which are funny, and it's like if you insult someone's mother or woman like directly and hard, that could be translated a certain way as well. I would say,
Right. And like I
like
said,
if you disrespect my lady, like that would be, I might have some.
well,
I
like I
might have
said,
some.
Joe, you know us.
But
You
the
know
bottom
us,
line is,
Joe.
if someone comes at me with words, I fight with words. I'm never gonna put hands on you for using words. I'm that kind of person. I put
Oh, me
hands on
too.
you as last resort. Hands on you
Me
as
too.
last resort. I don't like to
Me
put my
too.
hands on people. I think that's not the right way to solve problems.
Well, you got to stay off of my 40.
I don't believe violence is the way to solve problems. Now I'm
Well, they
someone
need to stay away from
studied.
my 40 acres and
I'm
my
someone who
mule.
studied violence and martial arts my entire life. I'm extremely proficient at it. The only sport in my entire life that I ever got a trophy in is martial arts. I'm first place trophy every time I competed, and every time. Like I used to get drunk with my friends, and I could tap every single one of them out. Like
I hear you.
I'm good at what I do. I've worked. I'm QBS certified. I used to work with violent, mentally disabled people
Yeah,
that would wig out, and you'd have to carefully
restrain them.
restrain them without hurting them, like non-violently restrain them. I'm certified in that shit. Like, so I'm
I
not
hear you.
afraid. I'm not afraid in a street situation ever. And I grew up in tough streets, man. I've had guns pulled on me. I've had knives pulled on me, dude. Like I've been
Right.
there.
And what would
Like
you have done? What would you have done if somebody called you a pedophile?
someone calls me a pedophile, I'll be like, well, why are you even fucking talking about that? What's your problem? What's your fucking psyche? Like
That's
I just fuck
true.
with their brain, because I did have some dude like we were actually we were watching a video of that singer girl. She's like a young girl from like
Oh
nowhere.
yeah, one of those. Who was
And
it? Ian or something?
somebody came in the chat and was trying to spam me and call me a pedophile because I said the girl's song was beautiful and she was like a little kid. And I'm like, dude, like this little girl is singing her balls off in a way that most adults can't do. It's fucking impressive. It's
Yeah,
beautiful. Like fuck off. Like
it's
but
cancel
like,
culture.
like my response to someone who thinks that or tries to call that shit out, it's like, what's wrong with your mind where that's the conclusion you draw? Like
Look,
now
that's
at the
cancel
same time,
culture.
well, now at the same time, I mean, there are that they're trying to again divert attention from the fact that they just nominated a Supreme Court justice that is very lenient on people with that are child sex offenders, child porn offenders, not just child porn
Exactly.
offenders. That's the part that the Republicans talked about. She's actually been lenient in sentencing as the record got flushed out more, like
That's right.
actual child rape offenders, like these people are leniently sentenced. There's a guy in like and again I don't have the news in front of me, but this dude in South Carolina or something like that shot up a mall, injured like 14 fucking people. He's out on
That's right.
$25,000 bail. He can wear a fucking ankle bracelet and go to work still after shooting 14 fucking people. Like what the fuck is wrong with this world? Like that's not right.
It's
That's not okay.
it's sick.
Like the fact that a rapist can just get a slap on the wrist to serve a couple of years in jail. Like I'm not even talking child rapists, which is even worse, but I'm talking just an adult rape, like which is still terrible and awful. I'm not trying to minimize
Well,
the crime, but a
Joe,
guy
let me
that raped
interrupt
a
you.
woman isn't gonna go to jail as long as somebody that fucking committed fucking joint offenses in the 90s. Like how broken is our fucking system?
David Rademacher, the guy David Rademacher who trafficked and killed Kimberly
Punishment should
Pandelios.
fit the crime. The punishment should fit the crime.
Right. Well, David Rademacher, who's serving life without the possibility of parole for the trafficking and murder of Kimberly Pandelios, he had just gotten out of prison when he did that. He was in prison for statutory rape, sodomy on a child under 14. He did 2 years to come out and kill Kimberly.
And slap on the wrist and then went and reoffended and actually murdered a person.
Exactly.
And that happens time and time again. I mean, like
That's
most of these people that go on to murder or do these like horrific, like end your life type crimes where it's like, I'm getting the death penalty or life in jail. They offended like nonstop before that point. So the
but what's
point is
happening.
like, like our criminal system is supposed to reform criminals. What it does is it
But Joe,
trains
here's the other.
criminals, right?
Let me explain to you. Let me.
Well, you've been to prison, Richie. Tell me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong in this hypothesis, right? You got two paths in jail. You go to jail, you got two paths. You either find God or you find out how to be a better criminal. Is that
Absolutely.
incorrect? Is that a wrong assumption?
Especially where I was. It was like a college classroom. I was at Metropolitan Detention Center with all the big brains. So that's what we would do: sit around and talk about new ways to move money, new ways to make money. And I came out of federal prison much better than when I went in there. I knew how not to get caught better. I knew how the system. I knew how the system worked at that
Well,
time.
how do you learn, right? You learn because like, you fuck up and make mistakes. So all those guys in there, they were like committing high level crimes and they made this one little fuck up. And they're like, don't do this, bro. Whatever you do, don't do this.
Do you want to know? I'm going to be honest with you. The number one lesson and the first thing you'll be told when you get to federal prison, and again, we're talking about high level criminals I was with. I could go through the names.
Sure.
Every single person, well, not everyone, but 99% of the people that get caught will tell you, I got caught because I talked on the phone.
I talked
Talking on the phone is what The feds always catch you because you're talking on the phone. So that is what everybody there will tell you. Never talk on the phone. Let me just say one other thing because I want to get back to this.
Good. Yeah.
I didn't mention Ruben to intimidate, harass, or annoy these guys. It's just they need to understand we're not the kind of guys that you could scare. So while we're having a lot of fun,
I mean,
while
we've
I'm
done
having
hard time. You've done hard time, and both you guys have. You know, like I mean,
exactly, and it's kind of like this. I saw that Mario was even starting to harass Ruben, and he sent him out some kind of tweet. He was even calling him Mr. Palomares. And he was trying to ask him, you know how he tries to bully people into answering questions? He started asking Ruben questions, and Ruben had one single response: order my book on Amazon.
well,
So, yeah, I want to plug Ruben's book real quick.
yeah. Go ahead. You got a link. Go ahead and throw it.
I forget the name of it, and I don't have a copy here. If anybody wants to buy Ruben's book, just go to Amazon and put in Ruben Palomares. I think it's called Confessions of a Dirty Cop. And Ruben Palomares, yeah, he was a Rampart Crash police officer. He went rogue, and he's got a fascinating story.
And cool as hell, dude. Real nice guy.
Yeah, and he's one of the most awesome guys you'll ever meet in your entire life. I love this guy. I mean, we're practically Siamese twins at this point.
He got into being a cop for all the right reasons. He went to jail for all the wrong reasons, and that's a pretty good story. It is, yeah.
Exactly, and it's like it's just absolutely incredible.
Well, and to be honest, my takeaway from talking to him and my interview with him was that he was really like frustrated that the justice system wasn't bringing these fucking like awful criminals to justice, and like they created a squad that were like, yeah, we're gonna be as bad as you fuckers, and we're gonna fuck
exactly.
I mean, that's the takeaway I got from it, you know.
And think about who they were. And look, anything they did.
With MS-13, like they're hanging people, cutting people's heads off, fucking
exactly
people, leaving them in the streets skinned alive. They're doing terrible shit to people. Like when we talk
exactly
about big shit that like people don't even know about, like this shit don't get reported in the news. They don't talk about this shit. These people like jump off like 13 fucking heads in the middle of the street of someone they don't fucking like. That's how they roll. You know, like
exactly
these are the people you're fucking with, you know.
And you take a look at any victim of Rampart Crash, you take a look at anybody who tried to sue Rampart Crash, there were no innocent people that ever got a beat down. None of these guys, yeah, a lot of these guys got the shit kicked out of them. Yes, there were some guns planted on them. I'm not saying by Ruben, you know, I'm talking in general.
Where he fucked up, and he readily admits it, was he was stealing their drugs and selling them. Like
exactly.
Shit. Like he got bit by the devil and became the thing he was trying to fight.
Exactly. But when I say what I just said, like, yeah, some people got hurt, some guns were planted. I'm not saying Ruben. I'm talking about cumulatively, because you realize I know almost everybody.
Sold his ass out from his own mouth. Like they sold his ass down the river. He thought he was like they were all going to still be tight-lipped. So he gave his testimony like nobody's going to be ratting on me. You know, and then they all ratted on him. Every single one.
No, dude, there's only one real snitch. And the only person that snitched on he'll come back on the show and he'll explain it, but there was only one snitch. There was one person who brought him down, and that was Rafael Perez.
Yeah.
If Rafael Perez would have kept his mouth shut, nothing would have happened. And Ruben would probably
Ruben would have found Jesus, and he probably would have been leading some big ass gang at this point. You know?
Exactly.
He probably would have looked like Scarface with his face buried in a pile of drugs at this point.
At the end of the day, though, I'm speaking on behalf of Ruben. I'm speaking on behalf of my other friends from Rampart Crash. Listen, anybody who got hurt, anybody who anything happened to, they had it coming, bro. Like you were saying, these are people who skin people alive. Yeah. These are people who cut off heads at MacArthur Park. You'll find a head floating in the water.
Oh yeah. If you're a prostitute and you piss them off, they'll cut your face off. Like they're
exactly.
It's horrific shit. It's horrific.
So the people that got stomped out by Rampart Crash, it's like nobody should have ever had any sympathy for them. I mean, that's the reality.
I mean, there are people on this earth that are terrible people, and it takes good men willing to do terrible things to stop them. That's
exactly.
But it takes good men willing to do horrible things to stop and this is my own paraphrasing, but this is a great way to say it. Let's say it like this. Mighty Joe quote. You can quote this. It takes good men willing to do nightmarish things to stop the people that are the things of nightmares. How about that? There you go.
Rampart, the slogan for Rampart Crash was, "We intimidate those that intimidate others."
No,
That was the slogan.
Bottom
That's
line, if I'm gonna hurt you, I'm gonna hurt you fucking like I'm gonna show you what hell is. To quote my knife fighting instructor, that
Hey,
I've been
exactly.
studying with since I was 14 years old. I'll show you what fucking hell is, man. I was the youngest member.
Everybody's got to fear. Everybody's got to fear something. Everyone's got to fear something. Everyone's got to fear something, including MS-13. And when Rampart Crash was on the streets, MS-13 was scared.
Fuck the cliche, but I think it's actually a spiritual truth. Is there's nothing to fear but fear itself, because like to fear is nothing but the inability to control what happens next.
Right. I'm going to tell you, this is just kind of a funny story. Listen, let me just tell you, this is kind of ironic.
We're getting into religion, but
no, you're not wrong at all. I just want to say, listen, this is kind of
to control the next thing. That's scary.
I just want to say kind of a funny story. In 1990, I moved out of my parents' house and I got my first apartment. And this was in 1990. And it was a very old, historic, it was very expensive. It was one of these doorman buildings, but it was in the worst part of town you could possibly imagine. It was in the Rampart Crash district. MacArthur Park was my backyard. And back then, the neighborhood was not very good. You had to drive into the garage. You didn't want to walk around the neighborhood. But I used to walk around. I used to walk to the store and stuff like that. And it was bad. Rampart Crash came on the scene, and all of a sudden, you could walk around in that neighborhood without being in fear. The kids right across the street is Otis Parsons. And all those students at Otis Parsons live in their, like, the apartments like hostages because they can't go outside because the streets are just littered.
Well, so I knew, so I grew up in North Shore of Boston, and I remember seeing the Guardian Angels on the subway, right?
Yes, Curtis Lewa.
Yeah. So they made it into Boston, and there were heavy presence on the subway. And we were taught, when you see those guys with the red berets late at night, you're safe. Like, those guys are fucking gonna make sure you're good. And they did. Like, there was never any bullshit. If those guys were
when we were kids growing up in New York, we used to write graffiti on the trains. We were like 13, 14 years old. And Curtis Lewa and his wife, I think her name was Lisa.
Yeah, but they probably didn't come after the guys writing graffiti. Right?
They would chase us. They'd come running after us, and we weren't going to fight with them because we knew they knew karate and all that kind of shit. So we'd run away.
That's it, right?
I mean, that's the truth.
That is exactly it. They do karate, dude. I studied karate, man. That's what I did. I studied karate, man. It's a great equalizer. I want my message to anybody who's taken this point to listen to this point in this show, specifically, study how to protect yourself. Walk safely in your own skin. Martial arts is a fucking game changer. He just said it out his own mouth. He was a hood rat and a bad kid and all the wrong stuff at that age. And he's like, I didn't want to fuck with those guys because they knew karate. So
exactly.
He said it out of his own mouth.
Right? Well, whenever I saw Curtis, because it was usually on the J train, and whenever Curtis was around, hey, Curtis, how are you? I wasn't going to be pulling no shit. And like you just said, we were not punk kids. We were tough Italian kids from Howard Beach. You know, we weren't the kind of guys that were intimidated. But I'll tell you something.
Like neighborhoods in like Boston and New York and New Jersey, it's like, and Rhode Island, they're like neighborhoods and kids and neighborhoods. It's a fucking thing. Like, and there's like tough kids from tough neighborhoods. It's just how it is.
We would see those red berets coming up the stairs or coming down the stairs at the subway. We'd run like hell. Like you said, they do karate. And it was like, I ain't playing with these guys. They had nunchucks and shit like that. I'm out of here. And because we didn't even know how to fight against people like that. What do we know? So yeah. And I know that Curtis ran for mayor of New York, and I haven't followed up. I don't know if he won. He would have made it.
Before the election, he got hit by a car, and it's super sketch how it went down, dude. He got
No
hit by a
way.
car. Dude, he literally got hit by a car, bro. Got a bunch of ribs busted, that ended up in the hospital. Dude, like legit, dude. Like right before the election.
He's got a lot of enemies. If you look at some of those shows, like where he was on Howard
People went
Stern,
after his ass, yeah.
dude, he had John Gotti after him at one time. He was fighting with John Gotti. He gets into it with everybody, but
Dude,
it's all like
you gotta
now.
get into the Whitey Bulger fucking Robert Mueller connection because that's fucking insane as fuck. You know,
I
like
don't know if they're like I
so
said. I
Whitey
don't know
Bulger was an
Whitey.
informant for Robert Mueller in the FBI, and he fucking
Right,
covered his ass. And they used Whitey Bulger to just knock out mob after mob that was competition. You know,
right. Why
like
wouldn't they?
they just whack the competition. You know, like it's insane. You know, well, yeah, it's too hard to find a terrorist. It's easier to just make one and make a Hollywood movie production and sell it to the public. You know,
Exactly, exactly. It's all showbiz, bro. It's all theater. Everything that's going on around us is theater, and
everything
that's
we are
why it's
watching is theater. That's my impression. Everything we're watching is
yeah,
fucking Hollywood movie, and it's bullshit. And it's like we can all see it. We can see through it. It's like this shit is
exactly.
fucking bullshit, man.
It's becoming so apparent. It's just getting stupider and stupider. This Johnny
It,
Depp trial was this Johnny Depp trial was supposed to start 3 years ago, and all of a sudden they waited till now to create a distraction. And you've got Elon Musk all over the news trying to buy Twitter, and everybody wants they want everybody to forget that Elon Musk is going to be testifying. They don't want people to tune into that
So
trial and
that
hear
was
the
a key
questions.
part, which I love, and it came out in the opening deposition. Is that after Amber Heard left Johnny Depp, she ran straight to Elon Musk, and
Exactly.
you're saying he and she's the spokeswoman of the Me Too movement. And you're basically saying he's bankrolled it, but I think all that adds up, man.
I know.
I really
I
don't.
didn't basically.
I don't see a place where that doesn't add up. You know.
Let me just correct you. I don't basically say that Elon Musk is funding the Me Too movement. I was told that by Richard Schwartz, Esquire, Amber Heard's attorney. Now, is it true or not? I don't know. I mean, it is hearsay at this point because
Yep.
this is something I was told.
Well, I mean,
Um,
anything you say on my show is hearsay from you, but I
well,
mean,
exactly. Well, I like
no,
to make it. I like to make it clear so nobody comes back later saying, "But
the bottom line is a lot of things you've told me over time, piece by piece, fall into place, and I can see I verified enough stuff about you that and the bottom line is it's still you just giving your
right,
opinion and your
right,
recollection and your memory and the integrity of that if we were in court or whatever. But I do know you are who you say you are. I can verify
right,
that. So like I mean, I think that's the most important main point. Like I know you work for Ami Shafir. I have video you getting arrested. We've all laughed about it.
right,
Like we're gonna make it a meme. Like that exists. That's there.
exactly."
That's in a record. That's in a time. That's a timestamp. We know you
Joe,
worked for these companies.
everything.
We know you did what you
ev-
did. I can see
I can
those things.
support.
I can see those things as a guy who surfs the internet. I can verify those things. Anybody who goes behind me can verify those things.
Well,
So
Joe, that's why I say clearly, like that was a conversation with Richard Schwartz, so it is hearsay. But remember something, and you've seen a lot of receipts, and there's still tons of them. This is just time consuming. So far, you can
we've never even been able really to talk into you limited our conversation around the Viper Room specifically,
right, exactly, because of
but
that
now you're
contract.
not going to do that anymore. So
No, I am going to do it.
that's
I am going to do it, but I'm too impatient, bro. I want to get down now.
right. Yeah,
Uh,
you're speaking more. You're speaking more than you were about that, which is good.
yes, absolutely. And sometimes I got to speed things up because you watch the news, and the things I'm involved in are on the news, like this Disney Corporation, like this Amber Heard situation. I don't have 6 months to make a documentary. I need this information out there now because children are not safe, grown-ups are not safe. The mouse is madness. Bob Pfeiffer, Hollywood Records, um, trafficking. I mean, listen, there is so much more that is being blocked from the media. There are so many people that I could point the finger at. And not only can I point fingers at people and make statements, I can back everything up through paperwork, video, recordings, voicemails. I have everything. I have every phone call that I ever had with Paul Baresi recorded. I have everything I ever did with Mario Natrini recorded. So these people can go piss in a hat. And, if they want to file criminal charges against me, that's fine. Um, Most of the time, they were aware. Remember something, my profile has always said that all calls are recorded. So if you're going to
Right,
call my phone, expect to be recorded. I don't
right.
record you, Joe, because you're boring.
Yeah,
No,
well, shit, I still expect to be recorded. And how do you know I'm not recording you?
and who
So,
cares if I'm recording you? We talk everything we talk off the air. We talk on the
I don't
show.
have to record you. You know why? Because I have a team of FBI agents assigned to me, and they record everything.
Joe is a spook. Hey, is Drake? Where's Drake been? Has he killed anybody lately?
Can't talk about no. He's on we're not gonna talk about him. Anyway, next subject.
We're done with Drake. All right, guys. Listen,
Yeah,
I just
classified,
want.
classified. It's all classified, Richie. It's a
Well,
need to
listen,
know
bro.
basis, and you don't need to know, bro, where Drake's at.
My
He
phone's
might be
about to
outside your
die.
house.
My phone's about to die, and I got to go figure out what we're gonna do about Paul
He's
Baresi and
he's
Mario
he's right
Negrini.
outside your house right now, Richie. You better
I
get the
wish he
fuck.
was. I wish to God he was.
Drake's snooping around in your windows right now. He's gonna
I
be
wish
alive.
to God.
I'm about to shut off my camera and masturbate to the light.
All right, but listen, I just want to thank you for having me on the show. There's so much more to come. To the listeners, just
We'll
keep
get
listening
into
to the
the
Real
trial.
Mighty.
We'll get into the trial as far as the
Joe,
witnesses
when I
go.
hang up, listen,
Today
when I
was
hang up
like
from
junk. Today was a bunch of junk. It was all like
Joe, I can't stick around, but Joe, when I hang up this phone, you should kind of explain the relationship between us. You should kind of like just real quickly explain to people. I have millions of dollars. I could be going to tabloids. I could be doing all kinds of shit. Joe, where do I always break the shit first?
Well, I mean, I basically, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. I reached out to you, I
And I
first.
gave
You
you
didn't reach
everything.
out to me. You didn't reach out to me. I reached out to you. That's how our relationship started. I found your recording, the CPS recording that you posted, to I believe Twitter, and then
Yeah,
there was
that's
a
how you found me
discussion.
exactly.
I found it on some boards where I was serving, just looking for shit to talk about for that night for my show. And I was like, should I go into this? I listened to the recording. I was like, this is fucking wild. Like, is this guy real? Is this legit? Is this fucking real? Is this legit? And you can watch my whole reaction to it. It's up on Rumble. Like, I'm pretty fucking goddamn skeptical of your entire recording, but I do an entire show before I talk to you, where I just
Yes,
review your recording and give my own commentary. And
and then
then
you talk
I
to
reached
me,
out to you, and I got you on the show like the next night, and you
and
came through.
didn't everything check out immediately? I told you who my attorney was. I
You
told you
sent
he's a
me a
very big.
lot of information.
I told you David Bigney, who's a high profile attorney, is my lawyer. What happened? You called him.
I did yeah, and he called me back and all that. Yeah, the whole nine went down. Yeah, it was
You
pretty
guys
wild.
talked, and he even said to me, "Go ahead, talk to Joe." Remember, my attorney talks to people before I get into it with them, and
And me already got. I got. So his attorney represents also. They got the podium guy, and the podium
right.
guy's got a sentence going on. His name's Adam, and I would
I will
love.
try to get. Listen,
Well,
Joe,
no,
my phone is
I'm
about to die.
I'm gonna call.
I'm
I'm gonna call
I'm gonna
David
get
Mayo
Adams.
to get
I'm
that.
gonna get Adams. Listen, guys, Joe, I'm gonna get Adams' address tomorrow, and I'll give it to you, and we could post it on. We could talk. We could give it out on your show because listen, there's nothing better. He's only doing 60. I think it's 60 or 75 days. But
He's almost
believe it or
done.
not,
He's almost done. He's been. Yeah, he's gonna be out relatively
just
soon.
just but when you're sitting
I
in
love to
there,
talk
bro.
to him. I just love to talk to him because it'd be a fun
Well, when you're
conversation.
sitting in there, just a letter, bro, from somebody, you have no idea how good it makes you feel. Because I
While
don't
he's
care if
still
you're
there,
there.
while he's still there, you're saying, yeah, we can do that. We can do that. Yeah.
Yes, let's do it. All right, guys. Joe, real quick, how many listeners you got right now?
We got you and me and one other right now. We're chilling.
Hi, Mario. That's Mario.
No, it's Faith. It's Faith, probably.
That's Mario.
It could be
All right,
Faith.
Mario. I'll see you later.
Well, actually, it
Joe,
could be
I'll be on the
PJ.
show.
PJ. Could be PJ.
We'll talk tomorrow, Joe.
They're not in the comments. I bet $1 on PJ.
Oh, no, I don't think it's PJ. I think it's
Twitter if it was. She'll tell me.
I think it's
Tell me
Mario.
$1. PJ, tell me if he owes me $1. Richie owes you $1. That's all you got to tell me.
Well, she can tell me on Twitter because she never. Patty, when are you going to talk to us, Patty?
She
I
can't
think
come down.
Patty.
I don't think she has a Twitter, a Twitch account like to set it up.
Patty is actually, her comments and the way she listens to the show. Patty is
Oh, she's a
absolutely
sweetheart. She's cool as hell, man. She's
one of my favorite. She's one of my favorite listeners. I swear to God. Nicole
she's like
Corns.
she's a good Twitter homie. Like she's on Twitter. I talk to her on Twitter. That's where we chat.
Another shout out, Nicole Corns. Joe. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Her first name is Joe Balam, who's known on Twitter as Frankie Goes to Cricklewood. These people are listening to the show, and they're awesome women.
Frankie's chill as hell. Yeah.
They're not these little snivelly, liberal, wimpy, snowflake kind of women. They have respect for men. They actually like men. They're not men haters. They're not drama queens.
Most women like men biologically. That's kind
well, yeah, exactly. But you know what I mean? These like Amber Heards
like
and
men,
these Molly Sky Browns.
Men, yeah.
Oh, listen, Molly Sky Brown. Look at the anger. Look at the anger towards every man. Amber Heard.
If we touch on the news, there's so much demasculization, right? Like
exactly.
That really is a thing, and it's like
it's a very serious thing.
So China has realized that their society is so demasculated. They're starting they're starting to be like, you have to be manly. They've banned like effeminate men from TV in China.
Crazy.
Like people don't talk about that shit. They don't, like nobody gives a fuck.
All right. Well, listen. You have a great rest of the show. Maybe you'll get Natrini, or if Natrini or Paul Baresi decide to come on, just shoot me a text so I could listen. I won't even come on and create havoc. But if they do decide to come on, just shoot me a text.
One, if you want to hang in the background and give commentary on the news, I'm about to start jumping into this shit. So
there you go. Do the news. Okay. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Stay tuned. Keep listening to the Real Mighty Joe Show and retweet the link. Come on, guys. Retweet the link. Know you're listening. All right, bro. Talk to you tomorrow.
I appreciate it, man. Nice chatting, bro. Richie, the album motherfucking teeny. He is what he is. And well, not here. I actually took you out, but yeah, I'll add you back to the stream if you just want to listen in that mode. I'll just mute your mic so you're not like coughing in the background while you hit major dabs while I'm trying to like read some shit. But you can unmute yourself if you want to chat, but you're still just hanging in the background. All right, so we're gonna go over some of the news for today because there's some news today. I got some documentaries, I got some different videos. What do I actually want to get into? Let's see what do I get into first. Kind of actually want to watch a video because I spent all that time talking to Richie and it just exhausts me, man. That guy's just such a drain on my energy, It's like I got my chi up here and Richie talks to me and my chi. No, I'm just kidding. I love that guy. I just like to fuck with him. But yeah, it's funny, So to speak of my relationship with Richie, I did reach out to him first. I know him through phone conversations and many phone conversations. He probably recorded them. I'm always aware of that. He says he doesn't record my conversations with him. Do I trust that? No, not at all. Did I say anything on the phone that I wouldn't fucking stand by in court? No, never. And the way to do that in your entire life is to just say what you mean all the fucking time so that you can stand by it when you have to read it in court. So that's what it's going to be. Is if I have to explain myself in court, I will. I'll be like, hey, I did this. This is why I did this. Such and such and such. This is why I said that because such and such and such. Like, it's just, yeah, I stand by what I fucking say, Do I learn? The older I get, if someone's like, hey, when you were 19, you said this. Do you stand by this statement? I'll be like, yeah, I was high as fuck when I said that. Yeah, like, no, I mean, do I stand by it now? I mean, maybe it was funny. Maybe I do. But like, like that's what they do to people to assassinate the character. They go back and like try and nitpick everything they ever said, everything they ever did, and try and destroy you. And it's just a bad look. It's just a bad way to be in life. I don't know. I'm not into that shit. All right. I'm gonna scroll down and I got this all called up already. So and you can follow me on Twitter if you want to kind of get a sneak peek at a lot of the clip notes that I would be popping on the show. A lot of that will me on my Twitter. So it's kind of a background take of it all, dude. We got a bunch of random shit. But well, let's just give it up for Richie. I appreciate Richie. What I was saying, the bottom line is, I mean, can I tell you if that guy's telling the truth or not? No, I can't. I don't know. That's his opinion. But he knows a lot of these people, knows a lot of names. It is what it is. I mean, is it true or not? I can't tell you. But I can tell you he's Richie Albertini. I can tell you he worked for these certain companies. I can tell you he got arrested. It's on video. Like, there's certain shit I can verify, like, so that's what we got as far as that guy. And I love and respect the shit out of him because he's got balls, man. And it takes balls to just come on and talk, man. Even if you're a bullshit artist, man, to come on with someone like me and talk to me as often as that guy does. If you're a bullshit artist, it's like, man, you're like really banking on me to help you make money. Like, because I'm not very good at that myself. So I don't think I'm helping you much. Yeah. Like, anyway. All right. Breaking report. Woke Forest, North Carolina medical student put on leave after tweeting about deliberately injuring a patient for mocking her pronoun badge. Wake Forest refuses to condemn. And you know that I covered that story when it broke. I actually literally called the college like about 10, 15 minutes after Libs of TikTok tweeted that this lady was bragging about injuring a guy who mispronounced her on Twitter, and I was like, "Yo, you got a fucking problem. You need a PR agent on this shit to fix it." Like, she's in my local hospital, like around here, and one of them, there's a bunch of local hospitals in North Carolina in this area. I live in North Carolina, but like, like a big ass medical chain, like, yo, guys, this is a bad look. Like, you're like our like medical school, like it's like a big part of our income and economy is our medical system. And if they got like bad looks like that going, it ain't good for North Carolina at all. Like get on that shit, talk about it, fix it, fucking and they did a bad job of that. And they just placed this lady on leave, it seems like. But she was already in her she's already done with school. So she was in her practicum or whatever they call it, I guess. Like where she's like being a nurse or a doctor not getting paid or however they work that into medical school, which is really fucked up. I get that you need to do that as like an apprentice and stuff, but you still, yeah. Anyway, all right. Let's yeah. So that's that story. I get mad about it. Like if I start talking about that too much, so we won't spend too much time on that one tweet. All right, so breaking down, Twitter suspends popular satire account Il Donald Trumpo. Uh, they got suspended today. That's really sad. That's a funny account. I think they're back with like a backup account already, but it's like a satire account. It's a joke account. They got suspended. And it's like them suspending Babylon B. They suspended Libs of TikTok. They're trying to suspend all these accounts that like they just don't want the truth out there. We'll get into that reason and all that stuff. All right, so this is a fun one. So why is no one standing for people of Shanghai like they're standing for Ukraine? And this person says their TV hasn't told them to, and that's the point. And that's it. Because if you're not aware, uh, there are people being locked up in Shanghai. It was supposed to be like a 2-day lockdown that's gone on with 31 days. It is brutal. It is shitty. Like no buenos, no buenos. Hold on, we got more shit. I got to scroll down. I fucked up my feed. I usually have it all set up. I'm not great at this. That's why I'm a amateur and not a professional. You know, somebody's better at this than me, but maybe I'm the greatest. You never know. Be like, man, that guy was so professional. I like Mighty Joe's shitty show. He's bad at that shit. What am I even looking at? This is just my Twitter feed. This is not where I want to be. Yeah, this is like random. Like, you see how much shit I have to scroll through to find this good stuff? You see all those bullshit tweets? No, it's where the fuck. I'm like, what the hell is this shit I'm scrolling past? Yeah, see all these cherry picked tweets that are good. Yeah, we're gonna look at all this shit and talk about it. See, I have to work every day. Mighty Joe gets up and he slaps his donkey, puts coffee on his back, and he rides them into the fucking morning sun, and he cherry picks memes and dank stories and clips from the entirety of the internet that is full with nothing but bullshit. But he sees in the shining sun at that perfect alignment of the morning the rays of light hitting these perfect memes, these perfect stories that highlight the dipshit shit fuck goddamn clusterfuck of humanity that we are in, stuck in, and hopes to highlight in the future a path forward where we can become more than just a bunch of fucktards living in the Matrix. To be continued on Netflix. No, it's not on Netflix. You can't get the shit on Netflix. I'd have to sell my soul to be on Netflix. We got a bunch of other shit. Hold on. But I did find my real shit. And I'm just being weird. But whatever, man. It's my show. I can be weird. You know? I work hard. I drink. I smoke, and I make this show. So I can be as silly as I want to be. It's my right. It's my right. Oh man, dude, like this shit is so wild. I mean, so why is Biden Easter Bunny directing the president? And there's another clip which makes the shit like a shitload worse actually, because you hear what he was getting talked about. I don't know if this is the first or the second time this happened, but like the Easter Bunny's basically directing Biden around. Yeah, it's a different one. All right, so that looks one way, right? But there's actually another angle of that. Hold on, let me find it specifically. We'll just go back and forth. We'll go up and down. We'll find it. There's another angle. This is much more concerning. This is the same exact clip, but just from a different angle. And this is a lot more concerning.
All the Easter Bunny.
I gotta make it full screen. There you go.
Pakistan should not, and Afghanistan should be. All the Easter Bunny, Mr. President. Pakistan should not, and Afghanistan should be. All the Easter Bunny, Mr. President. Pakistan should not, and Afghanistan should be. All the Easter Bunny, Mr. President.
I mean, that's creepy. It sounds like he says, "Oh, Mr. Easter Bunny, Mr. President." Anyway, let's get back into some other news. All right, we'll go down a little bit. But I want to show those two clips back to back, synonymous. All right, so we've got Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby. It is true that we believe we'll be able to begin a process of training Ukrainian armed forces on howitzers that will be shortly heading over. That training will occur outside of Ukraine. So basically, they're saying they're going to supply military equipment and training to the new military, the equipment they're supplying, and they're being very careful to say, "Oh, we're not doing that in Ukraine because that would be considered an act of war." Then this guy looks nervous. He's touching his face a lot. Let's hear it.
About Ukraine too, and U.S. troops training Ukrainians on the howitzers and the radar systems. We've heard that that training could start this week. I'm just wondering if there are additional details, like, you know, how many U.S. troops will be involved, where this is going to happen, some essential details like that, or is this going to be held closely by the Pentagon?
I think we're going to obviously. So let me back up. It is true that